Hi, my name's Butler. I'm 20 years old from the UK. When I was 13, my hip joint got infected, and after 3 years of surgery, I've been left without a right hip joint. My right foot is now a few inches higher than my left. With my bike, I had to change my right hand crank. Profile Europe, they sent me a set of cranks, 2 different sizes. Yeah, really appreciate it. Let's go ride it. It's just basically a normal 13-year-old kid riding motocross, used to do BMX and scooters and all sorts of things like that. And I was riding to a skate park with my friend, down a hill, like as you do, jumping off curbs, and that one curb I jumped off, and basically it must have popped my hip out of the joint, which caused somehow a cut or something that got infected deep in my hip joint. And yes, I thought I was fine. I got to the bottom of the hill, I was in absolute agony, and after about 10 minutes, it's just gone. Like, there was no pain there. It's quite strange. And got back on my bike, and I was riding for 2 months, and everything started getting like really hard. I was lethargic. I couldn't move that well. I was watching BMX edits, and when I see someone fall off hard, it made my hip like cringe and hurt so much. That's one of the strange things that like it was doing to start with before we knew what was happening. And then yeah, a few months later it was like this leg's red raw, and I'm in bed, thrown up, temperature. Like, the hospital sent me away with antibiotics, and they done that twice. And the third time we went up there, we were like, look, we need a blood test. And yeah, 13 years old, and I had the septic arthritis in my hip, septicemia. I had like straight into hospital, operation. And yeah, they recognised it really, really late, so probably would have had my hip, but that's not. I'm fine now. Like, I enjoy my life more now without the hip than I did before. So, you know, and it was quite hard. 3 years in hospital, like 22 operations, maybe more. It's as many as we can remember, anyway.
What was the first thing you sort of did? I guess learning to walk.
No, it wasn't actually. It was learning to do wheelies in a wheelchair, so I didn't have to lay in bed. That was the first protocol. After a while, I got bored of the wheelchair and sort of got to walk now. But what I did before that, I got a scooter, so I didn't have to be on a wheelchair. I put my arms on the bars, and that was mostly what the weight went through, and my leg was just resting on the deck. The next progression after scooter was probably like, yeah, I learnt to walk, kayaking. I was a kayaking coach for a few months, maybe 6-7 months. Yeah, I appreciated that. People down at Landisall Paddlers, that was the next step. They got me quite fit. I learned to roll, but everything was in your hips with a kayak. So it made everything so much harder. What happened after that, I went to a disability course with Landisall Paddlers. And then the next step, I went to this disability course. I jumped in the wheelchair and I was shooting hoops. And she was like, oh, you're very good in that wheelchair, like, how? And I explained my hip and everything. And she went and spoke to someone called Neil Smith at Newport Velodrome, the Welsh Academy, like Paralympic Academy, I suppose. A lot of good riders have come from there, and I went to them. I started riding with one leg, spent 9 months doing that. I was doing very well, riding internationally. I was having fun, but I didn't enjoy the way I was treated. A lot of people may disagree with this point, but I'm going to say it anyway. I felt mentally ill from how I was being treated. I went back to the BMX. I just left, like, I was on track for GB probably. People know what's been said, and yeah, there'll be an investigation. I just don't want to get involved. I'm happy how I am now. Most of the people were sound there, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
It's just a few. It's just a couple. Like, a couple of people ruined the whole thing. It was like, I went to camps and things. It probably wasn't like full-blown riding for GB, but they took me on camps. They were interested in me. After everything, I competed in the International Cup in February 2015, and a month after that I was straight on a BMX. I was like, I can't do this anymore. But after that event, it was the next day, I was like, I'm not riding anymore. I sold my bike. I had mountain bikes. I had the downhill bike as well. Yeah, I raced downhill. It was the most fun thing I've ever done. I come 21st, like in my first race out of 41. I was it's quite good, to be fair. I've never been on a downhill bike before. I'm straight into things. Like, if I got something in my head, it's like, I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does, but we're on the roll now, yeah. So, straight on the BMX, and we're chasing a dream.
Flavor the music, chop this, screw that. Take you through church in a verse till you too fat. Holy Ghost from the lowly coast, spit humility. Facing critics, cold fronts, blocking our humidity. We on rap. For show us cognac, I twist your dome back. Our tracks, see they be napping.
Oh, the Nemo thing's quite funny, really. I was in Ramps. I'm always there now. I live in Cunninlynguists, or however you pronounce it. I'm from Essex, so Adam shouted Dan, and I think he wanted one of us to go over to him and talk or something, or do something for him. We both went over there, and he was just like, right, you're Nemo from now on, and you're Dan, because we kept both going to him and we'd be like, what? He's just like, you're Nemo. I don't know where it come from. It just happened, really. And then with my bike, I had to change my right hand crank. My leg is 6 inches shorter because you got the femur and then the hip joint, like coming off your femur, and there's no hip joint, and it goes straight up into the pelvis. So yeah, it's basically like it's hard to move. It works about 20% of how it should, and with one crank shorter than the other, it doesn't make me slip pedals. It feels normal for me, but when you guys jump on my bike, you'll understand why your bikes are so weird for me. But that's, yeah, I don't know. And then Nemo, he's got a bad fin. One crank shorter than the other, so there you go. Perfect. This is the dream now. This is what I want to push on for now. Is a company called SOSA. It will be Disability Extreme Sports. The name means SOSA is someone of special ability. So what we want to do in the long run is build SOSA as a charity, because there's a lot more funding out there, and we can then put on events. And what I want to do in the long run is have a disabled extreme sports event, something like the X Games, something like the Invictus Games, but all put into one. We want to pull them together and try and achieve something and build a community that vibes off each other and makes it so happy that they want to be at our events. So yeah, people like Wheels would be amazing to travel and put on an event with him. I've seen people with one arm and he's just riding with a jumper tied to his bars. Yeah, Jack Dumper, yeah, it's insane. He's doing like bar spins with it and things like that. Like, I'd love him on board as well at some point, maybe, if he sees the video. Wink wink, come on. Yeah man, Disability Extreme Sports. That is what we want. And a good community, bringing everyone together, having fun. I may be able to ride, but my bike is actually my wheelchair and is my walking aid. Without my bike, I don't have much else to get around on. I can't walk very far because I don't have a joint in my hip. The femur is actually pushing into the muscle around the hip joint. I go into shops and get asked to get off my bike, and when I try and explain my situation, they don't listen to what I'm saying and automatically assume, because my disability is not visual, that I'm not disabled.
Hustle, work on the back of the truck. Call it trash, call it treasure, he would measure it up. Compete by drugs, not dope on the scale though. He had the dump weighing up trash by the elbow. We kept him at arm's reach, he lived out harm's way. A dangerous enclave, stood with a drum face. Cause on the low, garbage man turned economist. Worth a million edition scholarships anonymous. Couldn't read, no degree, epitome, you can never judge a G.
Yo, some call him Wayne's World, some call him Wayniac. He in the cul-de-sac where they park the trailers at. Back when the cracky rap baby sat, Wayne was a
Forward first, one hip, double backflip. You see it here first.
on a come up, he taught a young sucker how to buck up. Tucked where the mad dog and ripple at. He hit my ass from the bullies when they whacked me with the wiffle bat. Till I had a sack to attack where they bristle at. Fist whistle back till I'm old enough to pistol pack. Wayne the wino, the white trash aristocrat. Hillbilly, Mr. Miyagi rocking the fishing hat. Yeah.